about by the video.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I think feedback process, what usually happens is people get to see
Just a moment. Wag ek is nou net op besig hier. Kom net terug. Okay.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, usually what happens is you get to see some recurring themes, you know, and then you can focus on sort of one thing at a time, or at least not just everything. So yeah.
That's what my idea, what I was thinking is just to focus on one thing at a time for 3 months and just talk about one thing for a long time and so.
What time is it there? 6, 7?
It is 6, 7 p.m. So it's almost it's now strict bath time for them. So,
good times on a Friday night, right?
Yeah, we usually keep them on a strict kids on a strict routine. 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. is bath. 8 they have to by 8:30 lights have to be out already. Anyway, that's now deviating from yeah.
Good for you.
But thank you.
We never managed to pull that off too strictly.
So yeah, it's I've got I wrote something and it's in the support hub. I wrote in the support hub. It's just something that happened to me yesterday. I was thought this could be just a story, a story that I could tell in the form of an experience, yeah, it's a story that I could tell, that I can just give you the background. Well, if you can read it, because and I didn't Hemingway and language tool or anything because I was busy with it for a couple of hours. I mean, it's getting easier, I think, because I'm using your framework, and so I'll just leave you to read it.
I'm just pulling it up here. I might as well pull it up on the screen for people. Can you see that all right?
I can see it, yes.
So let's see. So I just pulled it from here. Yeah, so you're looking for help on a CTA, want to make okay, yeah, okay.
So that is just where it says reference. It's just to myself and to you. It's not part of the story, and the CTA is something I don't know yet what I want to what the CTA would be or should be.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to scan this real quickly, and then maybe we can talk. Cool. Okay, I get the gist. Did you want to say something about it?
Yeah, the idea was, I think it is, I would say that it start when you're not ready. So people, the idea is that people, they're not going to start with making videos, or they're not going to write something because they're not ready, and they first want to get all their ducks in a row before they started. What happened here, so let me just give you what happened was, I had an appointment. It's with I followed the free call study case study method. Got the person on the call, made appointment. He was late, he didn't appear. I waited for him, he didn't appear. Messaged him, and then he had a second time now that he would appear, and that second time he also didn't appear. he also was a no-show. And then about 45 minutes or so, an hour later, he video called me from out of the blue, and I was sitting there and I wondered, should I answer this call or not? And because I didn't have my the messaging overview that I sent him a document, the messaging overview, the very first in the messaging part. I sent him that document, and while he was ringing, I wonder, what the hell am I going to do now? I'm not ready. I'm not at my computer, my desktop PC. I was on my laptop. It's a very slow laptop, and I know it's not going to be very pleasant. And I thought, hell, F it. I'm taking this call, but it all happened in about 5 seconds or so. I'm taking this call because it's an opportunity for me to learn and to maybe get a video testimonial from the person. And so, yeah, I answered the call, got my notes, and I wondered, while I was answering the call, I wondered, what the hell am I going to say to him? What am I going to say to him? And because I didn't have my script, so everything in front of me, and I just asked him, give me about 30 seconds or a minute while I'm getting everything together. So I got and I just remember, okay, you work on the same document that I sent him. And as I was doing it, I wonder, how am I going to remember what to say and what's in the document? And then I just looked at a document and I thought, okay, but I've done all this before when I did the video, the profile reviews, and I've sent messages. And so I was able to then just scan it over and just go with the flow. And I just kept to one basic, I think it's one subject or one nucleus, whatever you call it. Didn't say, and I was like on the tip of my tongue, told him, I'm not ready and all that. And I thought, no, what the hell? I thought, no, zip it. That's not what he's going to want to hear. He doesn't care if I'm not ready. He doesn't care if it's 40 degrees Celsius, whatever. He's here now, and I have to make the best of it. And so start so the whole thing was, start when you are not ready. And I don't know if you call it a value post or what. That's why I'm not sure what I was going to do with this. If it's going to be a CTA, and so, or I think my question would be, if you could help me formulate a story, something from this. I hope I didn't speak chronologically, and but yeah, this is how it happened. And then I just tried to say, the person, we had an appointment, he missed the appointment. He had a second appointment, he missed the second appointment. He called me a third time out of the blue. I wasn't ready. I prepared, answered the call, although I was not sure, I was not ready. I took the call because I thought it's going to be an opportunity to to learn and to get a video testimonial. And at the end of the call, I was able to figure it out on the fly. At the end of the call, I asked for a testimonial, got a video testimonial, and I got a positive response in Messenger after we ended the call. I think that is a simplified version of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think about this a lot in terms of like, how do I, provide some kind of process, structure, guidance for coming up, like taking, an experience and making it a story. Like I get what you're struggling with, and I probably am too a little bit, in on like live on the fly. I would probably need to like work through it, which I'm happy to do. In fact, it might be the best way to go, just to see what pops out. Kind of.
I saw another video, from Alex Hormozy. I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
knows Alex Hormozy. So he had a post today I saw on LinkedIn, where he's thing about the Queen of England died 6 or 5 months ago, and she was the 99 in the top 0.1% most wealthy people, and basically the whole thing, and it is, you didn't. He just said you didn't think about her until this 3 months after you die. People are going to forget about you. 3 years after you die, no, you're going to be forgotten. And three generations after you're dead, nobody's going to know who you are. And do what you start, and do something now and then while you're alive. And then I thought, when I read that, I thought that's sort of something with this post. That's how I thought how it would be interconnected, but it is start when you're not ready.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a lead gen. I don't know. I don't know how to make it into a lead gen post or something. Comment here for what for.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just start chipping away at this a little bit. So the big idea, I think is fine. Like, okay, so with the big idea in mind, what I would say is I don't really care what you call them. Honestly, I never really think about this personally anymore. I did a bunch at the beginning, but what I would call this, and what I call most of my posts, unless you're doing, the lifestyle type or even results or stuff, but the value angled posts or the story based posts, even if they're not specifically value, I think of as belief shifting, right? So,
Okay.
So instead of like, is there value in here? Sometimes I find that hard to just answer. Like, I just don't always know. And kind of like here, the value is in shifting the belief that you have to wait until you're an expert to do something, essentially, right? Like,
so you got the words there correct. That's the belief shifting. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So like you'd kind of shift this to belief shift, and this is where for me, in the kind of the post format, to me, the way I think about this is the objective would be to shift beliefs about needing to be an expert first. The theme is your story around this call you had with the guy, and the call to action is up in the air, right? That's how I think about it. So almost like 9 times out of 10, for me personally, the objective is to shift a belief. Maybe 99 out of 100 for me. There are other people who do it different ways. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. It's just for me, if I'm telling a story, it's probably to shift a belief, right? Like that should be put in there. You could just be entertaining. You could, like, there are other things you can do, but it usually just makes the most sense for me to shift the belief. So, for me, it's, you don't have to be an expert first. And I'm going to actually, I'm just going to play with this for a minute. You develop confidence through experience. Start before you're ready. There's something about this wording for me that says start when you are not ready that seems clunkier than like this version.
Yep.
It's just clear what you're kind of
in one of your in one of your in your previous I used the word would and could, and so it's the reason for that is I always use the word could, And then I heard about 10 or 15 years ago somewhere that it's more polite to say would you instead of could you, and that's why I just changed. That's why I always used that. I changed. And then I heard in your previous comment, you in the loom, it sounds more active, or what is the word?
Assertive,
Yeah,
maybe.
assertive. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because I think the message that you heard 15 years ago is the flip side of what I'm saying, right? Like, I think it's right. And you know, again, take those things I say with a grain of salt. If it doesn't fit your style, feel free to,
Thank you.
you know, defer or do your own thing. So I think this is a good big idea. Whether you don't have to really pick one here. It's like this is a way to think about it, and I'm going to think about it as we walk through it a little bit. But so he dove into the call. So this isn't part of the story, right?
No,
This wouldn't be part
that
of the
was
writing.
that's just a background for you.
This is a good
when
summary, though.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, this is kind of like the theme. Actually,
I was writing dove, and then I didn't know. Then I thought dove would mean like a bird, like a dove.
Oh yeah, I think for me in America where I live, we would say this. There is a way to use dived, but I'm not sure. I think it's when you.
Yep.
Yeah, it might work. Might work either way, because I think when you might have dived into the water, dove. I don't know. I think we'd say dove. I would always say dove. But either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay. So we can come back to the headline. It's a good idea. Honestly, the headline might end up being your hook when we come back to the end. This actually might be some ideas for headlines that we can refer back to. But so to me, I'm going to say that this is actually the backstory here. You start off with, I guess I don't need to put that in there, but like,
and I'm okay if you cut everything, cut anything, because I just wrote a long story, and then I thought that if in the call that we could
that's good,
chip away at it.
So if you refer to this framework, if you're trying to use that, this line in itself is kind of like backstory and desire, right? Like, I didn't want to lose an opportunity, and I had this call. And this is what I love about this framework that I feel like people probably don't get, because it feels big and complicated sometimes, is like, I don't need you to have paragraphs on all 7 of these. You know what I mean? You kind of just covered it in two of these in one sentence. Now, sometimes it's totally appropriate to embellish and enhance and, add a bunch of color and concreteness. But at the same time, this isn't a rigid thing. It's there to guide you. And so, like, you've kind of covered a background and desire here. And then you add something. Yeah, you kind of embellish it here. And so that's great. Opportunity to get an honest testimonial would be lost. Now, like, I'll just do some of what I might do here. And this might not be your story. So,
well, that's exactly what I was thinking there. That's what you wrote there was exactly what was in my mind.
Cool. I mean, you've given me enough info for me to, like, I didn't just make that up out of nowhere. And I've been there, right? Like, that's the beauty of your story, and the beauty of any story for the most part is, like, people can relate to the stories. They've all been there in some way. They've had their own version of that experience. And the main reason I want to put this in here, though, is if you just jump in with this, it seems a little abrupt. And that's something I said to you maybe on your last two pieces of feedback,
You
right?
did.
Is there some kind of, I don't really know how to say it other than that. It's kind of like, it's kind of abrupt without context. So to me, this adds a whole bunch of dimension to the situation, right? It's like, it's about you, your phone buzzed. Uh-oh, what do I do? Now this makes a lot of sense to me. I was afraid if I don't take the call, you know, it'll be gone. Now for me, I don't, let's see, if I was afraid if I don't take this call here, this opportunity. So, you know, for me, I just get rid of these extra words. Sometimes they make sense and stylistically it's fine to leave them. I'm just telling you, for me, I generally try to reduce word count. I try to say it as simply and directly as possible-ish. But now, like, this is pretty clear to me, right? Phone buzzed, wondered if I should pick it up. I was afraid if I don't, I'll lose an opportunity, basically. So that's very clear, pretty simple, covers a lot of ground. Fine, good. This is great. You know, this could also fit the desire piece. Like you've kind of, you know, we're kind of drifting down in the story, but this could be a different desire.
It's something where you said to me a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks or so ago. I made a remark. I'm really horrible, and you just said to me, what's something you're learning. You don't know now, and you're learning. It was something that I thought it would be. It's
don't know yet, I think is what I said.
I don't know. Yes, I don't know yet, and yes, that's why I thought it would be good addition to the story. Where I didn't know something, where I was uncertain about answering the phone and what I'm going to say, and now answering the phone, I wasn't good. I'm learning. I'm getting, after I have the call, I'm feeling I have a lot more confidence after now that the call ended, and I got a positive a testimonial from it. Nice. So that's where this is where this fits in for me.
Yep. I added a bunch of commas here, which I don't normally do. I was just trying to see if that makes sense. I like to minimize commas, but I don't want my grammar to be just terrible. So I'm not sure if you'd want to put those in, but I just added one around me.
Please do it the correct way. I thought whites in quotations.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that. It's just sometimes I'm playing around with it when I'm editing. I will say, I'm not sure if this sentence is as clear to a reader who wasn't there. Just the way it's written, I would wonder about, say,
or if it's even relevant.
Well, that's actually it. It's like it's a nice little personal detail that has some concreteness to it. The only
does it fit into the story?
As much as I like having my name mentioned in your story, it's probably not essential to the story. So I'll just pull it down here for now and just see what we think. We can come back to it, see if you think, and if you do get rid of it, this still works. You could probably get rid of this line, then you could get rid of the I'm learning, because it would be, you could just stack them up. I'm still learning how to get people on free case study calls. I'm getting better. I'm getting good. Could do that, but whatever. Again, these are little things. Again, for me, if you cut out these words, like you've got, I know it's not really 669, but this is probably a longer post. So actually it doesn't seem that long. Get rid of the noise. Maybe it's not, but either way, again, I'm always kind of trying to go as simply and directly as I can. Okay. So challenge beliefs. So, well, whatever. Where did you, what prompted you to put this in here? Is this just a note for yourself and kind of explain to me what you were thinking?
I used the framework, and then the one with the headlines, I think. The previous page with the FOMO, I think the FOMO, and this is where
Oh, that's
I
from
use that.
yeah, that's from that other deck.
That's where I how I got to it.
I see. I don't think I have it handy. I know what you're talking about. Either way, okay, that's fine. I get it. Just trying to orient myself. So it's just interesting because, you know, that's why I think this is the right choice most of the time, and especially in this case. So okay, so when I accepted the call, I felt embarrassed because I wasn't prepared. Yeah, like I would just get rid of this. So it's interesting. So okay, so I personally would get rid of this, but I would also say that because you're kind of a video expert, you might want to leave it in. Like it could be okay because like I know that OBS Studio is something that video people know about. I don't really know anything about it.
You can remove it. It's fine.
But I just for what
it's not necessary.
Yeah, if you're trying to shift the belief about having to be an expert, probably the OBS Studio piece isn't so important. But I do think, you know, you've already made the point that it wasn't fast. So yeah, so you can just get rid of that. All right. So, but this is good. This is like a good, now we're into a kind of a different backstory, which is fine. Like I think the way you've gotten to this point, it flows, but it's almost like you're starting over, right? So theoretically, we might be able to get rid of some of the middle stuff, but I wouldn't worry about it. I'm just saying like this is now a new backstory, right? I was embarrassed to answer the call, didn't want to have it. Yeah. Now this one I would leave because it's just a concrete dimension to the story that doesn't get in the way of anything. And you're like, here's why I didn't want to do it because of the, you know, these reasons. So that's totally makes sense to me. Hit the call. Okay. So I'll be interested to see where this one goes. What I would say about this is you kind of just gave away the end of your story here. So I'm thinking that we might not want to put this part here. Like this is your conclusion, right? I took the call, I learned, I got a thank you message. Like that's kind of your conclusion.
Yep, that's actually that's a conclusion. Yep.
So you can either end the post here, or we can probably, you know, adjust or move this down to the bottom.
We can move it to the. I wouldn't mind if we can end the post. I remember you said you say a long. It doesn't have to be a long post. It can be a short post. As a long post as long as it's interesting.
Right. No such thing as a post that's too long, just one that's too boring.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so this is interesting too. So you shifted gears, right? Just see something here, sorry. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was what was going on there. But so you where'd it go? Well, you come out of the you know, whatever. I didn't want to have the call. I was concerned. You took the call, you know, whatever. So you had this conclusion, but now we're jumping. I think we're going back in time, right? You're talking to a prospect in Messenger.
Yes, it's a bit. Yeah,
I was called you on the phone.
Yes, it was a person. I think I was sort of like building a backstory, and then because I had that the framework next to me, and so I thought I was going according to actually what I did. I had that FOMO part of the I'm using the 5-day events video as a reference.
I got you. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. That's great. I'm just thinking, so like, this is going to be long if we do it this way, but rather than try to totally rewrite the post, I think this is a better angle for you to consider. So I didn't want to have the call from my laptop because the headset not as clear and as loud. I'm gonna, and then I'm gonna say, let's see, how would I do this? What, it doesn't have to be the best copy. You'll get where I'm going.
Yeah.
Some interesting things from the call, but before I tell you how it ended, let's back up. Now, I'm going to say, instead of a prospect, I'm going to say caller or something, you know, the aforementioned caller. I mean, I personally would probably write this because I'm weird like that, but I wouldn't necessarily suggest you use that word.
Sounds better.
Okay. Yeah. So now this, like, so you get what I'm doing here? Like, this is a really important piece, and it's like a really simple concept if you know to look for it, right? So like, this is that open loop that I'm talking about. Like, you've teased them up to this point and you're like, I was nervous, I didn't want to take the call. And like, this you could do better. Like, I learned some interesting things is pretty lame. You could even, like, I learned something critical to my business, whatever. Like, you could do better than I did there, but you get the point. But
Yep.
before I tell you, you know, what it is, let's you know, maybe even say back the story up for a minute, which is more words, but it seems a little clearer, you know. And I might even just say, whatever, is it days, weeks, whatever, for the call. I was speaking, and then you can get rid of that. You could whatever. I forget the wording, but hopefully you get where I'm going with this. So like,
Yep.
we're just trying to connect the pieces of the story a little bit better. So this person bombarded me. Here's the thing.
I mean, that's probably also not relevant because what happened, I'm just writing exactly as it happened because
Okay.
he sent me dozens of WhatsApp messages with a PDF and a video, and without even, if I wasn't in 6FA, I wouldn't have known better. But now I have learned there's a better way to not just bombard people with information. First check if they're interested, if that's what
Yeah,
they want.
gosh, there's so
So
much.
that can be, yeah, that can be left out, I guess. It's more, I think the gist or what the story is, I learned from taking the call unprepared. I learned, and I was able to adapt and finish the call and end it in a good way. I think so. All this long story can be cut out.
Yeah. Okay. Let me think about this. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too precious about this. You know, you've written a bunch of stuff here. It's kind of interesting to me. It's more dimensional this way, which I like. I like when things are concrete. I know more about you. I know more about the story. At the same time, it's pretty long. So it's like, if you want to reduce the words, it looks like you could just pull from here. Well, you'd actually, let's see. You'd actually be going, you know, you'd be going up here, like you'd be getting rid of a bunch of it, right? Like you could probably get rid of 150 words or more, 200 words even potentially. But let's just for a minute say we keep it, because it's going to be easier to probably think through here.
Yeah, if they turn a spam caller into a prospective-free case study testimonial, then it's almost it's about something different. You could say it's almost, it can be a different post, because I could say that. So the idea is that my main idea with this post is that I took a call that I was unprepared, and then I walked out with something that was valuable for me and for the person. And in another post, I could use this. I could write a spam where I had basically it was a spam message, and I turned that spam message around into by using the 6FA method.
Yeah.
I turned that into it could, that whole, it could stop probably before the story, as you suggested earlier. This could be a completely different post.
All right, let's go with that, because I think that's a good call. I think it really is. It is a different story about the spam thing. One thing I will say, if you go back and use this part, which I think is a good one to use, I think just it's a little minor thing, but I think decided is a little bit stronger word than thought. And if you,
and also
real quickly, especially if you take this into a different story where you've got a little more room to elaborate, I would add a little more here and say, not just an opportunity to turn the spam message into a testimonial, but an opportunity to help somebody like kind of see the error of their ways and help them do better, basically. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I just think that messaging could be a little stronger that way, with like just reminding people that you're here to help them, if that makes sense.
Yes, that's exactly what that's my idea. It's reminding people about help.
All right, so just for fun, I'm gonna just cut it out and see how we can make this work.
So what my thought is, if it's much longer, if I make a video about it, and it's just like a story content, a story video, then it could be more interesting to it's like a 6 or a 7, 8 minute video where I'm talking, saying something, telling my experience, telling how I experienced it, the flow, and then the shorter version is a post, and the longer version is a video. The long version is a video.
Yeah,
but I can do I can do the video from my memory. I think.
Okay.
Now, what's it? I decide.
Yes. Yeah. So I cut some of that stuff out to see if we could, get cut to the chase. So it's like, I want to have the call. I guess you could get rid of that too. Answer unprepared. Now,
so first is option 1. I can answer the call and have the opportunity or option 2, not have the phone ring away, and then potentially not being able to get that person on the phone again. He might not respond. He might not. So the idea is he will not respond to messages, whatever. It's and it's sort of a mission to get people on, even on a free call. Get people on there.
Yep. Now, I don't know if opportunity for a testimonial is clear now that we've cut out some of your other stuff. I guess you've mentioned it up here, so that's probably good. I
would say opportunity to help somebody and then get an to offer help and then have a testimonial. Maybe we can add I can add the words offer to help, and then the what's the reward or the result is a testimonial.
Yeah. And you don't have to overdo it there either. But you can put something in there. So I was almost terrified.
That is what terrified. So yeah, I'm gonna go. The phone is ringing. What am I going to do? I was unsure. I didn't have the message framework in front of me. This would be really my second phone call, my second ever free testimonial call. So I almost felt like I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. I get it. And I think here I would just say, I don't know, at with what, I'm not sure if that's a phrase, but I might just say terrified about what. And this is one of those weird things that I'm kind of a stickler on that I don't think really matters. It seems like marketers write in this, I don't know, kind of passive voice, strange tense, like you could either say about what I was supposed to do, which is more passive, or I guess, I don't know, maybe it's not knowing what to do, or even you could even just say what to do, like terrified about what to do, or about not knowing what to do. I don't know, just trying to clarify it. I'm not sure if that's helpful. I would not worry about that too much, but there needs to be a question mark in here somewhere. I'm not sure how you're thinking about this one, but like, I feel like this is kind of redundant. Like you're actually kind of saying the same thing.
I'm repeating what's at number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, but also accepting the call, or will it be an opportunity to learn? I would say that's more like an and in this case. Okay, so let me just see where this goes. So should I accept the call? I thought about going. I see. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I'm just going to get rid of that. And then,
yeah, it's fine.
And then I decided to take the call and use it as a learning opportunity. It's just, again, simple, shortens the the path. Fine.
I asked the prospect to wait for a minute while, I said prospect to wait for a minute.
Yep. And I would, in this case, I might do this. I might say, because I was afraid, that I'd forget something. And that's not Hemingway doesn't love that sentence, but it's fine. It's just a little thing, but like, in this case, I think you can probably get rid of some other words now because it's all connected. Sure what document I'm going to talk about. I don't know. I don't think that's as important personally. Like, you've made the point that I was going to forget something. But fine. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you can that I wasn't sure what I'm going to talk about. That can go, because it makes because then I remember I already sent him the message that connects with a. So yeah, and I wasn't sure the document that I think, that sounds, I think you're right. You are right. That can go.
All right. Yeah, I think that works. I don't think probably that's necessary. Oh, this is for us. How are you wanting to end it, or what we? Okay, yeah, this was fine. Okay, so this is kind of like the end.
Yeah, but you had earlier, there was on the top there was some, you suggested this an end. Okay, I'm glad. I wish.
Well, so in this case, I think like the ending needs to be something like, even though I didn't think I was ready to take the call, I got the results by taking a risk, or something like, it's something like that. I don't think in this case for the reader, I don't think they need to know that your laptop didn't catch it.
No, they need about it. No, that's not relevant to them.
Yeah.
And that and he agreed to a testimonial. I think that can also go, because unless it's I got the result that I.
Well, I think this is fine, actually. Like, I actually think it's cool to leave it there if he agreed to it. Like, that's pretty cool.
Okay, cool. So that's the message that's from Messenger. That's for your. It doesn't have to be in the. So that's what I messaged him afterwards. He expressed, and they said, well, what happened was afterwards, my laptop, when it was doing the testimonial, my laptop stopped recording. So I don't have the testimonial at all, although he gave it to me. And I thought, in order to get the testimonial from him again, I would take another call from him, helping with something else, so that I can ask him again for a testimonial. Because I'm not sure if it's right if I say, okay, Eric, my laptop, can we speak again? Would you mind just repeating the testimonial for me? And I thought, I don't know him well enough. I don't know him. He doesn't know me, and provide him with value, and then ask him again for a testimonial.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's just that is just actually I would ask you what do you think about, that's sort of a question. Would you think do you think it would I do this, I give him more value and then ask him for a testimonial again?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Trying to put this into context, like, you don't want to spend a bunch of hours trying to get one testimonial from this guy. If it's like, you don't want to force it. Doesn't mean you need to give up either. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't burn a ton of energy on something like that. Because where are you going to put the testimonial?
Yeah, I don't have a place for it yet.
So yeah, it's funny. I honestly don't really have a great suggestion for that. Usually, to my mind, testimonials go on sales pages, which could be a Google Doc. And you could just keep them. You could keep a collection of either, all your testimonials that you could refer people to. But I don't want to get too meta on us here, but like, your goal in life is not to get testimonials, right? It's to make sales, essentially, in terms of this, what we're trying to do here. So the testimonial should be a nice byproduct, and you should always ask for for testimonials, I'd say, when you're delivering service of some kind, or a product. But so So I wouldn't go crazy trying to get this out of him, but if you were going to do it, if that was your mission, I would say, this same message is, hey, whatever, just following up. Would love to hear kind of, how this has helped your lead gen. Engage him in a conversation again and kind of see where it goes. And if we want to make it about getting the testimonial, then probably we could follow up offline a little bit, but I don't think I'd kill yourself going for it. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. No, that's fine. It's perfect. Although it's outside the scope or whatever you call it of this of this. I just thought
no, it is and it isn't, right? It's like I feel like I have some ideas in my head right now about kind of trying to put another wrapper around this stuff for people. So there's like a strategy that everybody's working off of, because I think a lot of people are getting better at writing, especially story-based, but individual posts. It's like, how do you put this in the context of what you're trying to accomplish more broadly? And I think that's super important. And it's not the easiest thing to just do. But I guess in terms of like finishing this post, maybe we'll try to do that real quickly and then come back to the testimonial if it makes sense. But I think this is pretty good. I'm actually going to just kind of get rid of stuff now. I'm going to leave that.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Back to that. Yeah, we're going to cut Todd out of there. Yeah, okay, so now we're down to like 377 words. That actually makes sense to me. So again, in the interest of time, I guess we'll just choose that. And then this works.
I just that changed my life because I thought it would be. It's not really like that. It's, but it could be. If I look in 5 years from now, I could say, "Wow, it was just that taking that one call that changed my life." So yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like again, so in the interest, we've got a little headline there. You could use. Now this becomes the hook. It's a teaser, right? It sets up the story. Now this is cool. Yeah, and then that makes sense. And actually, dude, like you can get rid of these. Maybe not. It ties to this. But here's what I would do. See how this works. So when I accepted the call, initially I felt embarrassed because I wasn't really prepared to take the call. I'm still learning how to get people. And I would pull these together. And I would just make that sentence because it is one.
You can remove that. That's not relevant from the blackouts and stuff. So it's the story of life in South Africa. So it's not relevant.
Yeah, I mean, you can get rid of this whole thing, really. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying you have to, but you can go straight from there. Because then you're like, I'm still learning. So I think there's a little better transition there. Am I going to answer unprepared? And now you don't need to have notes about help because I already put it up here, right? Opportunity
Yep.
to, wherever I put it, help someone. Did I delete it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, great. So now this is like much quicker and to the point, right? What am I going to do? Answer unprepared, not risk getting a hold of the prospect again. It's terrified. Perfect. So I take the call, use it. Since you've mentioned learning, I might even just say use it to continue learning. I don't know, and improving my skills. I think like specifically calling out your improvements is useful here. And I guess I would just use the word I there to make it clear. I asked the prospect for a minute. Okay. I think you can get rid of this now. I get the panic thing, but I don't know. No, it's fine. Actually, leave it. Okay. So this is pretty good. I mean, you're down to 320 words. I think you've actually got a little room to add a little bit more if you want to. I think one of the things is probably lost at the bottom now, probably because I cut a bunch of stuff out though, is I think it would be good, like, you know, you talk about this messaging phase overview and then you call it the messaging overview. I'd make sure that these are clear, like consistent, make it be the same thing.
Yep.
And
Because otherwise it can be confusing.
And instead of saying go through the messaging overview document, somewhere in here, you should tease a little bit more about what it does. Like going through a messaging overview document is probably not going to excite anyone. You know, walking the prospect through a 4-part system that explain, you know, and I'm not saying make stuff up, but a 4-step process, you know, that teaches you how to message, you know, generate leads from Messenger and get you warmer prospects or whatever it is, right? Like talk about the benefit somewhere in there of that messaging overview document. Does that make sense? Like the difference between I was able to go through a document versus get a benefit.
Yep, makes sense.
Cool.
Yes.
And then you come to the end here. I would actually keep it really simple. Like the one that makes the most sense to me is I just be like, you know, if you're interested in that, the benefit that you're going to talk about. What you call it, messaging phase overview document. You know, you know, this is what I do. But I'm not saying that, again, that's my kind of tongue in cheek, right? Like you basically, but actually, to be clear though, the reason I'm doing this, I think it's a little funny, but it also ties to this message, right? You've got here.
Makes sense.
You weren't ready, but you're ready. So, you know, like I said, I don't know if I would use that if I were you, but I would totally do that. So I think this is pretty good. You know, I think there's a lot of good stuff in here. I think you did a good job helping cut away some of the excess and seeing, you know, that you've drifted from the one main point. I think that's a good catch by you. You know what, I'll actually put this in your, I'll put it in here so you can work off of it. Cool.
Cool.
All right, good. Kind of need to jump. Do you need anything else before we go?
No, I'm fine. Excellent. Todd, thank you very much. You've been very helpful. I much
Thanks for
appreciate
bringing
it.
this. Yeah,
and
no, it's awesome.
And probably time for the kids coming from school now.
Not yet. It's only 1 o'clock here.
Okay, thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Speak to you.
Sounds good. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.